everybody to what is, by actual count now, this is the 9th annual staff concert for KlezKanada. And goes right into what they call finally, it's like I'm Apollo 11. One small kvetch for man, one giant kvetch in the history of the Jews. Hibachi, because I'm feeling no green cheese here. But it goes into what they call a bias neiman b'Yisruel, a faithful Jewish home, a home which is loyal to the traditions of Judaism. And you can see that, you know, what looks like it's just a show can actually turn into a way of life. So I think we should all feel very privileged and very happy, not just that we're here and that we're here to witness the Sheva Bruchas of Jason and Rachel, but that all this stuff is going on. We've got a wonderful couple of evening shows. I don't know who decided that these things would be called the größer Konzert. I think the longer concert would have been a more appropriate name. We're starting tonight. We'll be going on through tomorrow, possibly into Friday. There's Saturday night will be the student ensembles, where those of you who are playing and stuff under the tutelage. It's an interesting cultural reciprocity, the way Yiske and Madeline coming from the Netherlands and getting into Jewish music and performing it, etc. The only piece of Dutch culture I know I learned from endless viewings of Miracle on 34th Street. I came from the kind of background where I really thought if I tried hard, I could grow up to assimilate, fit into the wider society by behaving just like Edmund Gwen. So for years, there was this little frum kid who was taking Santa Claus as his model of sort of adult gentility. But in the 80 or 90 times that I saw the movie, there's one scene where a little girl goes to see Santa Claus at Macy's, and they sing, she's supposed to have recently come to the US from Holland, and they sing a song that goes, Sinterklaas kapuntje, hoi wat in mijn schoentje, hoi wat in mijn laarsje, dank u Sinterklaasje. And I'd like to offer that to anybody here from Holland as my own sort of thank you for the Dutch embrace of Yiddish culture. I've been asked if Alan Byrne is here. I've been asked to ask Alan if he could go backstage, please, if he's here. If he's not here, and you know where he is, if you'd like to come backstage and tell one of the interested parties where Alan might be, we would appreciate that as well. We're sailing along here, drifting along with the Tumble and Tumbleweeds, with, again, another graduate of the KlezKanada Scholarship Program who has moved on not only to teach here, but to eminence in any number of fields, working under the nom de jeu of so-called. Josh Dolgan does all kinds of stuff besides klezmer. He's been working with all kinds of people. There's scarcely a show or an ensemble these days that Josh isn't involved with, and the reason is everybody wants to work with him, and we've got him here on stage, accompanied by, all kinds. I see Eric Stein on mandolin. Pete Sokolow, the redoubtable Pete Sokolow on piano. Say hello to Josh Dolgan. It's genuine, it is leather, no Naugahyde here. Yeah, no shatnez. We've sent it to the shatnez lab. It's Glock leather, it's nice and smooth, it's kosher l'choladeus, there's no chash from Yushin, there's no chash from Chodesh, there's no chash from anything in this jacket. And according to him, it has a $1,000 bill in the pocket. Okay, that was Zunik and Cher, accompanied by Zalman Molotek. Cher was Joanne Bortz. Zunik, Eli Molotek. This was an excerpt from Kids in Yiddish, the long-running hit from the Volksbühne in New York. It was also a bit of a Vorspeise, a little taste in advance of the presentation from Kids in Yiddish that Joanne and company will be giving on Friday afternoon at, I believe, 5 o'clock. So if you liked this, you can see more of it then. There will be kids, there will be Yiddish, es wird sein Chai gelebt. It'll really be something. Coming up now on stage, last year was the first time that Kurt Bierling was unable to make it to KlezKanada, and his absence was, as I mentioned before, rather keenly felt. So it's really with a great sense of happiness and even relief that I'd like to welcome Kurt back onto the stage. That's Kurt. We like him, but not so much that we'll get anybody to carry a chair for him. He can do that sort of thing on his own. That is, as I said, Kurt in the beret. He's being joined and accompanied on harp by Annette Bierling. Please welcome Kurt and Annette Bierling. The legacy of the hipster Rebbe and of his great Menagin label Yarden has lived on, and this is one of Yarden's original pieces about what it is to hold Sheva Brokas, why it's happening, and what it means. I'm going to be helped out in this by Pete Sokolow, Aaron Alexander, and Stu Brockman. Down in the Simcha Hall, just after the chippa when they're having a ball. The hussin' in collar by the oil tish. Somebody's little girls becoming H-Z. They're dancing in circles and dancing with chairs. They're burning every shifle made of Indian bears. And when everybody's had a wedding night, they fall into a reverential hush. Sheva Brokas, Sheva Brokas. Vodka, ding, cleaning kids and passing to God. Sheva Brokas, Sheva Brokas. Vodka, holy, cleaning kids and passing to God. The kids do not bend there to film it far. Den heeft de mooi, vermaakt de broekers vaar. De broeken with boy, die kind die ooit zo'n badge. Zweimal liever dan werkt, maar we zien het badge. Groß en weghalen, werden veel op verzinder. Dan maakt men net zo mee, maar die boeren wat zinder. De boy free aan hoeven, werkt en vaardig. De spoils en zooi, is boys hard. Sheva Brokas, Sheva Brokas. Vodka zingen in de kringen, is een paas in toegaat. Sheva Brokas, oh Sheva Brokas. Vodka holy, is een paas in toegaat. Everything down to New Orleans, you know what they mean by Ketzad Merakdir. The boys and girls stand in separate lines, shaking forwards and backwards and free their minds. They shake it left and right, and they shake it behind, like a swinging young hula on the pet guitar or not. So if you're out putting pie bushes in town, don't be a bish and just hurry on down. Sheva Brokas, Sheva Brokas. Got the holy, you pull your kids and pass it to God. Okay, everybody, Sheva Brokas, Sheva Brokas. Got the holy, you pull your kids and pass it to God. you. Again, from the repertoire of the hipster habit, Cello Brothers by Label Yarden, otherwise known as Louis Jordan. And a man who was helped out ably by Aaron Alexander, Stuart Brotman, and Pete Sokolow. Before we end tonight, appropriately enough, to close the show, we have, as the redoubtable, the legendary Pete Sokolow here on stage to do what only Pete can do. Pete Sokolow.